As a full-time content creator on YouTube, I have made countless images using Nano Banana Pro for my various channels. In today's video, I want to show you a specific technique that I use all the time that feels like cheating. By the end of this video, you will be armed with knowledge that will save you so much time and increase your production output by 9 times, specifically 9. We're going to get into why it's that number. Before we proceed, if you are interested in learning more about AI content creation and cinematic creative storytelling, I have a school. It's free to join and you can learn all sorts over there. All the resources that I share in this video will be free to access over there too. Okay, let's get straight into it. So I picked a pretty standard scenario for our demonstration video. I thought let's go for a 1960s sort of James Bond style scene. So we've got a 2-minute scene. First things first, I like to make character reference images for consistency. I'll just show you that before we get into the real technique that I want to talk about. Here's our 2 reference characters. This one looks like Steve McQueen. I did not ask for Steve McQueen, but that's what we got. So here is the technique I want to show you. This right here is called the grid style shot technique. And as you can see, what we've got is 9 images in one. So this is a 4K image. And because of the specific dimensions of 4K, if you divide it equally by 9, each frame in that image is a HD image. So if you can split these down into their individual shots, you've suddenly got 9 images from one. Now, I can't emphasize how much of a game changer this was for me. The advantages are obvious to doing it this way. You get way more bang for buck. Your credits, suddenly you don't have to spend as many if you're spending credits on Nano Banana. Suddenly you can get 9 images from one. Now, the caveat, of course, is it has to be a 4K image to do this. You could also do it by 4 images. You could do a 2x2 grid and get 4 images. As you can see, we've got a whole story right there. That's literally 45 images from 5. And you might not even want to use all these shots. You might not need all these shots. The other thing I want you to lock in is the consistency in terms of location and style. Because when you're generating shot by shot, if you're doing individual images one at a time, that's one of the easiest things that can drift. Like, it's easy to lock in character references now if you've got a good character reference sheet. But to lock in this like setting consistency to this degree would be very difficult if I was doing it one at a time. There are ways, obviously, you can create a location reference, but this is just a different beast in my opinion. So let me show you one of those prompts. This is shot 2, and it's this scene here. And when you look at it like this, it can be quite confusing. It can be a bit overwhelming, in fact. But if you break it down into its individual components, it's not as crazy as it looks. I love Nano Banana because it can handle this level of detail. It's just crazy what it can do. It's still my go-to after a year of using it. So I'm going to break it down into its individual components so you can see exactly what's going on level by level. So the opening declaration, the scene setup, is the first thing that comes. So we're describing that we want a cinematic 3x3 grid presenting multiple camera angles of a baccarat table inside a glamorous casino at night. Then we've got our character introduction. Now, what I always like to do is, even when using character reference images like I was for this, I also reinforce the description of the character in the prompt itself, because I feel like you leave no room for Nano for it to drift. So this is just our character introductions. We've got this woman in her 20s. We've got our main character, and the next thing is the action beat. So there's a scene in this image where I think the whole idea of the shot was this exchange of a tiny metal microfilm canister. And the final shot has exactly that. There is one minor issue with this, which is I think it's supposed to be hair given in this microfilm to him, because I think that was the whole point of the scene. That would be very easy to fix though. You would take this individual frame and maybe just say something like, change the arm of the character on the right to the arm of the woman in the reference image. Technical lighting block is the next part of this prompt. This is where I describe the lighting, and for this we went with warm chandelier light, golden and rich, glinting off crystal, and gilt, whatever that means. Deep shadow beyond the pools of light, saturated colour. Then we've got our consistency instruction. I add this often to big prompts like this, or any prompt in fact, because I want to make it crystal clear to Nano what I want and that I don't want it to drift. So I say consistent subject appearance and positioning across all frames. The spy must match the reference image exactly. I'm doing everything I can to lock in that consistency. Now, the most interesting part of this prompt is the style closer. This is on every single prompt. This is something I do all the time because even when you're doing like these grid style shots, you still want to maintain consistency between them. And the way I do that is with my style closer. So this is on every single prompt I use. And it says 1960s spy film aesthetic, Eastman color, cinematography, warm golden tones, rich saturated color, deep shadows, shot on 35mm film, cinematic photorealism. And then we just got a final instruction saying images stacked together with no grid lines and no borders, no text. I often have to add the no text instruction because sometimes Nano likes to add text randomly. So that is that full prompt broken down. I'll leave like a template for this on my Skool as a free resource. You just go over there and join it. It'll be free for you. So there is one little aspect that you might be wondering about, and that is how do I split these images down into individual frames? And I think that is quite important to show you. Now, there probably is a way of doing it very slowly, manually like this, but it's not practical and it would take you ages, and we're not going to do that. So I made this app with Claude Code. Grid splitter, that's what I called it. It's the third iteration of this, that's why it says V3. And then I've got this command that Claude told me to provide. Then I hit go, oops, and then it does it like that. Boom. In our output folder, we've suddenly got 9 images, all free to animate and use in a production. So there's just countless advantages to doing it this way. Just one drawback I do want to point out. In shots like this, where the characters are quite far away, you suddenly get the old AI monstrosities creeping in with the faces. Look at these characters in the background, for instance. Just not good. Now, you could go in there and fix that with a spot edit. You could go in, drop this image into Nano and say, enhance the faces of the characters in this image so they look more realistic. But yeah, that's the one thing I've noticed using this technique. Any distant or wide shots, this like, you can see in this one too, where it's, yeah, no, it looks kind of rubbish, to be honest. I almost said something else. But the trade-offs are minor in terms of what you get in return, which is you can work rapidly, you can get so many images made. So if you did 10 images like this, suddenly you've got 90 shots, potentially 90 shots at least. This is a technique that since I discovered it, I'm just using it all the time. Because without it, production would just be so slow. I'm running multiple channels I cannot afford time-wise. It was literally impossible to stay on top of the demands without doing things like this. Hopefully you find this useful and it can change your workflows and help you make better cinematic content. Again, if you would like to make better cinematic content, consider joining me on Skool. If you liked this video, please give it a like. Consider subscribing for more content like this. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.